In this series of videos, we're going to be solving applied problems, which are also called word problems. Now, when we solve word problems, it really helps to define variables, to draw pictures, translate the words into mathematical symbols, such as is means equals, sum means addition, product means that you're going to be multiplying. Then you're going to create equations and then use everything you know about solving to solve for the unknowns. Now, some helpful hints for the problems that we're going to do today. Perimeter equals the sum of the side lengths of the rectangle or any shape that you have. It's the outer edge, so it's the linear length around an object. An area, the area of a rectangle is equal to length times width. And then simple interest is interest equals principal, that's the amount you invest, times the rate, which is your interest rate, times the time in years. And that's what I equals PRT is equal to. Okay, let's get to it. The first problem says the sum of two numbers is 6 and the sum of their squares is 90. What are the numbers? Okay, so I'm going to use all the tools I have available, and one of them is a highlighter. So there's two pieces of information. One says that the sum of two numbers is 6. The other says that the sum of their squares is 90. The sum of two numbers is 6. That's addition. And I have two numbers that I'm adding together. I don't know either number. The next piece of information says the sum of those numbers, the sum of their squares is 90, but I still don't know the value of either number. So I'm going to define my variables. X is equal to one number, and Y is going to equal the other number. So defining your variables will help you in the end determine whether or not you've got the right answer. The sum of the two numbers, so x plus y, is equal to 6. And the sum of their squares is 90. So squaring and the sum of those squares, x squared plus y squared, is equal to 90. Now we know that we can't solve an equation with two variables. We can only solve an equation with one variable. So we're going to use one equation to write in terms of the other variable. So our first step is to define the variables, which we did. The second step was to create our equations. And then our last step is to solve. And we're going to do that by getting one equation in terms of one variable. So we're going to take this first equation and I'm going to solve it for y. So y is equal to 6 minus x. Y is equal to 6 minus x. That means everywhere that I see a y, I can put 6 minus x in its place. So I have x squared plus 6 minus x quantity squared equals 90. X squared plus 6 minus x quantity squared is 36 minus 12x plus x squared. And then that equals 90. And I'm going to combine like terms, 2x squared minus 12x. I'm going to subtract 90 from both sides. And when I do that, I get 54. So 2x squared minus 12x minus 54 equals 90. I'm going to factor out a 2 And then I'm going to factor my trinomial, and I'm going to try and solve for the variables. So we'll have x minus 9 and x plus 3. Hopefully you're getting better at factoring and you can factor that fairly quickly. That means x equals 9, x equals negative 3. So if x equals 9, okay, so I'm going to make 9 green. If x equals 9, then when we come up here, y equals 6 minus 9, I get y equals negative 3. So if one number is 9, the other is negative 3. Okay, what happens if I say, let's let x equal negative 3? If x equals negative 3, y equals 6 minus negative 3. That means that y equals 9. So if one number is negative 3, then the other number is 9. So it's pretty clear that the two numbers are 9 and negative 3. And we can check by squaring 81. 9 squared is 81. Negative 3 squared is 9. The sum of the squares is 90. When you add the two numbers together, you get 6, which is exactly what it said in the original problem.